If we're talking about strange and monstrous animals, we don't need to look in literature, movies, or video games. All we have to do is search the oceans to encounter creatures that dwell in the depths, with such unique and unrepeatable appearances that human imagination has used them for its works. With such bizarre and unimaginable features, they become true monsters. The ocean is home to many inhabitants, and every time its depths are explored, new fascinating and unique specimens are discovered, many of which create their own genus. This is because the oceans of the planet are so unknown to us that we know more about the vast universe than we do about these regions of our own planet. Underwater exploration faces many physical and technological limitations that hinder research. For example, we have the Mariana Trench, the deepest place on Earth, reaching a depth of about 36,000 feet, 11 kilometers. Currently, technology only allows exploration to a depth of 23,000 feet, 7 kilometers, leaving about 13,000 feet, 4 kilometers, unexplored. However, it is said that Japan is developing a submarine capable of reaching depths of 39,000 feet, 12 kilometers, named the dubbed Shinkai 12,000. This would allow for broader research. But even so, the ocean is the most extensive region of this planet, meaning there will always be places to explore. One of the limitations of research at such depths is the pressure generated by the water. At a depth of 33 feet, 10 meters, atmospheric pressure doubles. So, at a depth of 33,000 feet, 10 kilometers, the pressure would be 10,000 times greater, which implies many physiological changes if you don't get crushed first. At a depth of 100 feet, 30 meters, gas exchange is affected. Oxygen no longer enters our bodies as easily. We don't eliminate CO2 in the same way, and nitrogen begins to accumulate, a gas that can cause hallucinations. This is one of the greatest dangers for divers, who need to descend slowly to allow their bodies to adjust and ascend in the same manner, so that the pressure allows the nitrogen to be eliminated and prevents bubbles from forming in the blood. But if they descend much further, death is very common. Although modern submarines can dive to greater depths, the pressure at such depths can destroy navigation equipment. While this might sound like a diving and exploration lesson, it's not. I mention it because the animals that inhabit these depths are adapted to their environment. The inhabitants of the abyss are creatures with unique appearances, but their morphology is equally peculiar. Most are blind, as sunlight does not reach these places, which has led them to develop other senses, such as electroreception. An example of this is the six-gill shark, which measures about 15.7 feet, 4.80 meters, long and weighs 1 ton. They detect their prey through receptors on their snouts and, as their name suggests, have 6 gills to breathe the low oxygen levels in this zone. A shark discovered by chance is the frilled shark, a primitive species with an elongated body, multiple rows of exposed teeth, and an internal incubation period of 3 years. It lives at depths of 4,600 feet, 1,400 meters, and was discovered in 1884 when a specimen swam to the surface, likely sick, as they do not normally swim at such altitudes. Many species, lacking vision, rely on touch. The giant red jellyfish is an example, with 6 stinging arms of considerable thickness. It measures about 6 inches, 15 centimeters, and only 23 specimens have been cited, creating its own genus. They hunt animals that approach them, paralyzing them with their tentacles. A specimen that inhabits the coasts of California and Japan at depths of 1,970 to 4,920 feet, 600 to 1,500 meters, is the vampire squid. It gets its name from the membrane that connects its 8 tentacles, giving it the appearance of a cape. Each tentacle has spines that help it grasp prey. Additionally, it has photophores that allow it to visualize prey and other members of its species, and it expels a bioluminescent substance to deter predators and turn them into prey by covering them in this fluid. This is a unique ability in the animal kingdom, quite fascinating. At such depths, the water is cold, not exceeding 37.4 degrees Fahrenheit, 3 degrees Celsius. However, in some places, there are hydrothermal vents where the water heats to extreme temperatures and sulfur is abundant. Giant tube worms live near these vents, adapted to such conditions, allowing them to live up to 170 years. They obtain their food through a symbiotic relationship with millions of bacteria, which can make up more than half of their weight. In the depths of the South Pacific, on the ocean floor, lives a hairy crustacean, the Yeti crab. It is closely related to hermit crabs, is white in color, and inhabits depths of 7,480 feet, 2,280 meters. It is very striking due to its white fur and lax eyes. The largest crustacean discovered in the world is the giant spider crab, which inhabits the coast of Japan, reaching lengths of 9.8 feet, 3 meters. They can achieve these dimensions due to their strict adaptation to aquatic environments. It is said that many species of deep-sea fish are descendants of those that inhabit the surface, and through adaptation to their unusual environment, they have taken on these appearances. An example is the fangtooth fish, with large protruding jaws and teeth that are positioned inward, preventing prey from escaping. It is speculated that their fangs are for defense or for tearing off pieces of flesh from larger animals. The barrel-eye fish is a curious case, with a transparent skull that allows the interior of its cranial cavity to be seen. It is assumed that this prevents predators from delivering a lethal bite to its body when attacking. Many species have adaptations of being translucent to avoid being seen by fish with vision. A mammal that feeds on these deep-sea inhabitants is the sperm whale, which can dive to depths of 9,840 feet, 3,000 meters. It spends long periods submerged in search of fish and mollusks, especially large ones. Some legends are real, such as the mythical kraken. The legendary giant squid does indeed exist. These giant squids, measuring 46 feet, 14 meters, long, inhabit the depths and attack sperm whales. In fact, most of the scars on the faces of these cetaceans are caused by this species. 8 species of giant squid have been described, and while they do not prey on large sperm whales, they do defend themselves against these fierce predators, though many succumb to the whales. Other famous fish are the deep-sea anglerfish, which have long fangs and a bioluminescent appendage on their heads that they use as a lure to hunt. Many of the species known from the abyss are very difficult to study, such as their reproduction. However, one fish that has been studied is the sea devil. Females are larger in adulthood, and the male attaches itself to the female to survive. In doing so, the male obtains food, and the female mates when the time is right. This behavior is repeated in many other deep-sea fish, such as the aforementioned anglerfish. In this zone, oxygen is not produced by plants but by bacteria, making it very limited. Only 2% to 7% of sunlight reaches these depths, forcing organisms to optimize every molecule of oxygen in their system. The Dumbo octopus is an example of this. This inhabitant of depths between 9,840 and 16,400 feet, 3,000 to 5,000 meters, can withstand pressures of 2,840 pounds per square inch, 200 kilograms per square centimeter, thanks to its gelatinous body and tiny size of about 8 inches, 20 centimeters. While it is quite cute in appearance, it is also ruthless when feeding. Many species are adapted to this unique environment. Where oxygen is scarce, most aquatic plants cannot survive due to the lack of light, and water pressure is lethal for most species. Therefore, this unexplored territory holds great mysteries and is home to true monsters. If they detect any movement, they attack at the slightest provocation. I hope that one day this marvelous place can be explored. I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, please give a like and share it so more people can discover this channel. If you're new, I invite you to subscribe. Thank you very much for watching this video. See you next time.